How's it going, Giants fans? Welcome back to Fireside Giants, and it is Victory freaking Monday, and we're one step closer to a playoff berth. Now, last night, if you watched our post-game recap, very excited, a lot of love for Kayvon Thibodeaux. We want to continue showing him some more love today because when you watch a rookie have that type of performance, you have to just bow down and say, that was tremendous. It was excellent. I mean, talk about a player who came into the league, a lot of negative attention surrounding his draft stock, people saying that he didn't have the motor, saying he gave up on plays, saying that he didn't care, saying he was focused on his brand and that he would disappear. Bullshit. It was all a load of shit. And now we're seeing Kayvon Thibodeaux elevate his game. And not only in big moments, but in the biggest game of the season for the Giants, he came out and had a tremendous performance. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. It was elite. It was elite. If he was able to do that every single game, he'd be one of the best, if not the best pass rusher in football, and it wouldn't even be close. You're talking about a guy who just completely changed the course of a game. He scored a touchdown, guys. Keep that in mind. He now has more touchdowns than Kenny Golladay. We're talking about Andrew Thomas and freaking Kayvon Thibodeaux having 2 touchdowns compared to Kenny Golladay 0 as a Giant. I mean, talk about a weird stat. That's one that I will not forget. But I'm excited. We're going to take a look at his highlights from this game. He's got a lot of them. And the one thing you're going to notice, aside from the pressures and everything else, is the energy and the pursuit, right? One of the players that had just tremendous pursuit over the course of his career was JPP. JPP always found himself 30, 40 yards downfield, chasing defender or running backs or quarterbacks from behind. And that's what we saw Kayvon Thibodeaux do in this game. He was everywhere. Left side, right side, middle, defensive or offensive backfield, beating the tackles, sweet. He was so good at every single variable of that game. I'm so excited to take a look at what he did. But Anthony, how you feeling after the win? Motions, obviously, we got a playoff berth right in our sights now. A couple things have to happen, but we're taking a big step forward here. I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'm feeling amazing after that win. I mean, it was a huge win for the Giants, of course. And when you look ahead on the rest of the schedule, I was actually reading the Giants have a 55% chance of making the playoffs, even if they lose out for the rest of the season. So they can still make the playoffs without winning any more games. But of course, that's not the way we want to do it. We want to win every game and make the way into the playoffs that way. But Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to be a huge part of that. And that was a dominant performance last night. That was the most elite pass rushing performance I've seen from a New York Giants player in years. I haven't seen anything like it since JPP, as you mentioned, maybe Justin Tuck, Osu Manura. It was one of those legendary games out of Kayvon Thibodeaux that just shows you why he was the 5th overall pick in the draft and how much potential he truly has from a pass rushing standpoint. But I think what really stood out to me in last night's game is Kayvon Thibodeaux is not just a pass rusher. He's not a one-dimensional edge rusher who just can pass rush, beat a tackle on occasion, and get some sacks. He was a truly dominant run defender last night. And I think that was the X factor in that performance out of Thibodeaux because he had 6 run stops. He had 12 total tackles, numerous tackles for loss. He was constantly in the backfield. He was moving blockers into the direction of the running back, covering up rushing lanes that way. He was everywhere for the Giants, even chasing down rushers and receivers like 15 yards down the field, making plays, dropping back into coverage. He was a real versatile Swiss Army knife for Wink Martindale's defense last night, and they're really unlocking every ability that he has in his repertoire right now, and it's super exciting to watch that happen for a rookie especially who missed the first couple games of the season. So now that Kayvon Thibodeaux is finally in the swing of things, I think the addition or re-addition of Azeez Ojulari into the lineup has helped him out quite a lot as well. I think those two are playing off of each other. When one is having a good down, the other one is able to open up on the next down because the defense or the offensive line starts locking in on the other guys. So those two playing alongside each other are giving me shades of Tuck and JPP or Tuck and Osu Manura. So I'm really excited to see those two grow together. And I think this final stretch of the regular season, as the Giants push for that first playoff berth since 2016, you're going to see them continue to rely on that edge rushing duo of Thibodeaux and Ojulari. And hopefully those guys can be the difference makers, similar to those old school guys that I mentioned were during those former postseason runs for the Giants this season.
Absolutely. And before we dive into Kayvon Thibodeaux's kind of highlights film here and just kind of react to them, I just want to look at them and just kind of wow and amazement with you guys along the way. But just some numbers, some stats that I wanted to kind of give you guys so you had an idea of how everybody else played, or not everybody else, but really the core 3 guys that are the long-term future of this defense, especially in the trenches, Azeez Ojulari, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon Thibodeaux. So Azeez Ojulari, he's played 3 games since coming back from injury, but he has 4 straight games that he's played in where he's accumulated a sack. So ridiculous. He has 5 sacks across 4 games, and he has a forced fumble against Washington. He's been just tremendous. A really, really good player for this team. Combined, Thibodeaux, Ojulari, and Dexter Lawrence against Washington finished with 18 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and 12 pressures. I mean, Washington doesn't have the worst offensive line in the world. They're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. And the Giants made them look pedestrian, right? The Giants made them look like a bottom tier offensive line. As these guys get more reps together, more experience together, I expect them to continue just taking steps forward, being more productive and contributing more efficiently. This is a very, very young core group. I'm extremely excited to see how they can continue to mount on the success and compound on the success in the future. But all 3 of those guys just had tremendous impacts on this game and were really, really, really fun to watch. So, but with that being said, let's dive into Kayvon Thibodeaux's film. Definitely a really exciting stuff here. But again, number one thing to look at here, aside from all the pressures he got, is just the ridiculous amount of energy he brought to the field. Everything he did, the pursuit, the power, the finesse, he all the tools, every single tool in his toolbox was displayed in this game. And I think that was really what made it so much fun to just watch him. At certain times, I wasn't even watching the game itself. I was just watching him, and he was the entire game. So it was pretty fun to see him kind of go through the steps there. But let's start it up and see what he's got for us.
Yeah, and just building on what you were saying there, Alex, the Kayvon Thibodeaux, one of the things that really stood out to me in last night's performance was the drive that he had, and he pretty much had a V12 engine on him. His motor just wouldn't quit. Every single play, he didn't take a single snap off. If you remember, entering the draft in April, all of the chatter about Kayvon Thibodeaux that ultimately caused him to fall to number 5 overall was his motor, his motivation, his drive, taking plays off. We didn't see any of that last night. And to be honest, I haven't seen any of that all season long. Thibodeaux does not quit. He is constantly moving, constantly contributing to every single snap on the Giants defense. And I think that's really how he was able to put himself in position to make so many plays in last night's game, including the goal line stand at the end of the game. He made that play because of his motor. He got into position and he made a scrappy play to hold Taylor Heinicke on the goal line. And that's the kind of stuff that stars do, that real great players in the NFL do. Just having that motor to put in that extra effort, make those hustle plays, that was a real difference maker for the Giants defense last night. And that's the kind of stuff we've been seeing from Thibodeaux all season long. And that's why he's finally starting to really hit his stride at this point in the season.
That play was the difference between winning and losing. You know, like that little play, and you're going to see it's the last highlight in this entire video. That play was, and when you see it from the angle that we have here, you're going to be like, holy shit, like that really was that really was an amazing play. He was in the back of the end zone. He sprinted from the back of the end zone all the way to the pylon to stop Heinicke, which is just tremendous. But let's start it up here and take a look at what Kayvon Thibodeaux is showing us. The patience he shows. I mean, look at the vision. Watch the stutter step here, waiting for that read option, seeing where it goes. Is Taylor Heinicke going to take this? Nope. Identifies, bam, he's off to the races. And he makes the tackle. I mean, that's high level pass. That's high level setting the edge right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's great football IQ, which is something we've seen from Thibodeaux all season long. He's had such great IQ with the batted passes early in the year against the Packers as well. But on this play, another thing that you got to point out is the great job done by Azeez Ojulari to set the edge on the right side. We're talking about that duo really making an impact together, and you can see it on this play specifically where Thibodeaux gets this tackle for loss. He sets the edge on the left side, and he plays it so that if Heinicke pulls it, he could still get Heinicke, but Heinicke hands it off, and there's nowhere for that running back to go because Azeez Ojulari did such a great job manipulating the tackle that's coming across the line of scrimmage into the rushing lane, and then it's just for Thibodeaux to clean that up. So a great play made in tandem by the Giants' 2 edge rushers on this one.
Yep, and that was just to start the game, right? Now you're going to start to see even more. They did a lot of these little read options here. Let's see. Yep, defeats that block, plugs the hole. Nicely done. Nice job.
Having him play a completely different position there, and he's still just as effective.
Yep. Let's see what we got here. That's his sack. He really had 2 sacks in this game because he had the strip sack as well.
Well, that one's a tackle for loss. It was handed off to the running back there.
Oh,
A
I didn't
little
even
end
realize.
around.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look
that
at
was
the
a clever
quarterback.
play design by
Yeah.
Washington if it works, but it didn't work because Thibodeaux saw it coming all the way.
Wow.
The Giants did not bite on the end around jet sweep play action at all, the man in motion. So Thibodeaux did a great job here just swallowing the running back right behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, there
Man,
was literally no time for him to go anywhere on this play.
I'm rewinding. I'm like watching this over and over again, and Thibodeau still seeing this before I can. Unbelievable IQ.
Well, you know what it is here is he just explodes off the line of scrimmage, and that's something that was on tape for him at Oregon. He was tremendous with his get off at the line of scrimmage on a pass rushing snap and as a run defender. He gets out of his stance immediately, fires out of it, and you see him immediately jump out of his stance here with his arms out wide extended, recognizing that it's a running play and just absorbing contact and making the tackle. So it's a tremendous play there, but it starts pretty much pre-snap for him to just be able to get in position and time that snap count and make the play as soon as it begins.
Absolutely. And you can see now he's over on the right. Is he over on the right side? He's still on the left side. He's over on the right side now. Here's the
Yeah,
pursuit.
over on the right side, Wink Martindale has moved him around a lot this season. Ever since he started to hit his stride a few weeks ago, Martindale has had him on the right side, the left side. He's had him play off-ball linebacker in the center of the field, and he's pretty much lived up to the call of every single task that Wink Martindale has given him. Here, he blows up a tight end, actually goes in the
Logan
wrong
Thomas.
direction, but has the makeup speed to get around to the other side of the tight end and still make the play, which is
He
just
hits him so hard. He blocks Logan Thomas so well that he actually ends up running into Curtis Samuel. Watch
yep.
this. He hits him. Unbelievable power there. I mean, you put a tight end against Kayvon Thibodeaux, you're going to lose. Like, that's a losing battle every day of the week. But, I mean, he pushes him back so much, he actually affects that play. I mean, that could have been – he might have actually been able to get around the edge there, maybe pick up a couple of yards. Instead, he realizes, he knocks him off his balance, and he has to cut up inside and just try to get back to the line of scrimmage. And a really nice job. But those little things, those little moments make a big difference.
Yeah, and the fact that Thibodeaux still made the tackle on that play too just shows
Ridiculous.
insane athleticism because he ends up
Ridiculous.
being yards away from Curtis Samuel, and then as Curtis Samuel turns upfield, somehow Thibodeaux already turned upfield with him. And another thing that I'll say there is Logan Thomas is a really good run blocking tight end. He's on this team to be a solid run blocking tight end for Washington, and so to see Thibodeaux just immediately fire out of his stance. I mean, Washington likes to treat him as an extra offensive lineman on a lot of plays because he is that good of a blocker. But Thibodeaux just made him realize he is a tight end on that play and really showed him who's boss.
Absolutely. Another high IQ play. I mean, you cannot fool him. You can't fool him. Look how well he sets this edge. I mean, if he goes outside here, Brian Robinson decides I'm going to cut outside the left, not a shot. Ojulari, same thing, does a good job. Obviously decides to jump right into the middle there, and Kayvon Thibodeaux's like, yeah, this is, I mean, are you gifting me? This is a Christmas special.
Yeah,
Easy
it's an
tackle for
RP,
losses.
it's an RPO here, and Taylor Heineke kind of did give him a gift here because he probably made the wrong read. Heineke should have pulled it, but honestly, if you look at the way that Thibodeaux starts this play, when he gets into position to read, whether it's a handoff or a keeper, he's leaning to his right side, so he's ready to explode to the outside and meet Heineke on the edge regardless. It's not until the ball's handed off that he then jumps into the middle. So, and it's a great job done by the rest of the guys on the Giants defensive line here to plug those holes and really not give Taylor Heineke or Brian Robinson anywhere to go. You can see at the end of the play where you pause it right now, I believe that's Darnay Holmes was coming on the edge. So that might be why Heineke handed it off there and didn't keep it. So really a great play by the entire defense as a whole and just great execution from Thibodeaux.
And what I love about this the most, look where Thibodeau's eyes are. How many times have we seen players get fooled with this type of exact situation because they're looking at the player, the individual player or their feet or whatever it might be? He is staring daggers at the ball, right? He has his eyes dead locked on the football. And because of that, he makes the right decision. And he's still looking at the ball, staring it down. He watches it go right into Robinson's. I mean, it's just about those attention to details, that discipline that he's gained. And you're seeing it on full display. He's gotten better. He's like fine wine right now as a rookie. And now there he is, his little, you see this on the floor? Look at him cheesing on the floor. Freaking love this guy. Look at him. That's hilarious.
I love the charisma and attitude that he brings to the field. Like on that play, just that funny little celebration. But even after the game, we saw the video of him on the Giants social media where he took the camera and was talking about, go Big Blue. My eyeball is poked out right now. My hair is messed up, but I'm happy. Let's go Giants. And
Yep.
I love that. I love
Tough.
the energy that he brings, and you can tell that the players that he plays alongside, they feed off of that, and it just makes them all feel like a team, like a unit. And I think a lot of that has to do with Brian Dable and the culture that he's instilled. But Thibodeaux was a real culture fit here, and I love the way that he's just kind of already established himself as one of the leaders on the Giants defense as a rookie.
Absolutely. And here's the big play. Here's the big play. Left tackle gets I mean, look at the power. Look at the initial impact here. Watch the left tackle. Watch his feet. He gets completely dismantled. Like the guy is off balance instantaneously. I mean, you can't. Is it Leno? Is that their left tackle? I mean, he got completely destroyed. I mean, couldn't even attempt to reset. Thibodeaux not only strip sacks him, but then takes it in for a touchdown, which was the winning essentially play for the Giants. That was the difference between winning and losing that game. That touchdown could have been the reason. And then he closes it at the end too. I mean, this is what impact players do. And he did it in the second quarter. So you're seeing, I mean, they backed him up in their own. I mean, the best thing the offense did was punt this right inside their 5 and let Thibodeaux go to work. And, Heineke's about to get rid of this football. Coverage was decent on the back end, obviously. He wasn't able to get the ball out quickly. And the one guy that won, look at everybody else. Everybody else is stonewalled. Nobody else is getting that pressure except for Thibodeaux. And Thibodeaux makes it happen. He's the one guy that wins. That's all that matters.
I mean, dude, it's a 4-man rush. You don't expect to get the pressure home on this play, but this is just a freakish play from Kayvon Thibodeaux. I mean, the way that he explodes out of his stance, I mentioned earlier, his get off is absurd. And then that speed to power transition. It's not just a speed rush around the edge where you try and chase the quarterback from the backside.
To get up and see
this is speed into power. He gets off the line of scrimmage and then immediately spears the tackle, and then watch the burst after the move and the way he bends, dips around the edge, and then gets to the quarterback. He accelerates towards the quarterback after the pass rush move in a way that I have not seen a Giants pass rusher do really in a long time. And then, of course, the extra hustle, like I said, the motor that just doesn't quit. He gets on that football and brings it into the end zone. This is like a legendary play right here from Thibodeaux. This is the start of a special career. This is an insane play that really just displays every level of his pass rushing talents to the fullest extent. And another thing that I'll say, you mentioned that that's why you play field positioning. And that's why special teams has been such a major point of emphasis for the Giants this season. They've struggled in special teams, but to punt this ball and down them in the between the 5-yard line here, that really set things up for Thibodeaux to make this play. It backs the offense up and it allows the pass rushers to get to work on a 4-man rush. So you never know what will happen. So it's really important for the Giants special teams to start making more of these plays to set up Thibodeaux and Ojulari and the rest of these guys to create some turnovers and really be the difference makers in this game.
Look, there's another part of this entire play that really impressed me. You mentioned, and I don't even know if it's cold in here. I'm getting shivers just watching this guy go to work. But the kind of underrated aspect of this is he forces the fumble. And when he forces the fumble here, look where his head is at. His head is turned the other direction. He has no idea where that ball is. Not a single clue. Watch how quickly he rolls over, identifies where the football is, pursues it, and picks it up. He doesn't bobble it. He doesn't let that thing go. He scoops that thing up. He locates it, and it's all a very seamless transition. You're watching the vision he has, the attention. He is locked the F in, for lack of a better word. He is locked in. You know what I mean? You're not going to see, his entire head, his entire body was turned around. He has no idea where this football is. He rolls up, immediately locates it, and then chases it down and scores. That part of that play goes underappreciated. The sack, the pass rush, all unbelievable. The touchdown, awesome. But the fact that he was able to locate the football after, pursue it, and then pick it up seamlessly without bobbling it or anything, I mean, that's, to me, what is really impressive. I mean, aside from everything else, it's just another thing to be really excited about is his attention to detail and everything that you're going to see throughout the rest of this highlights that kind of attests to that.
Yeah, and that's the motor and that's the IQ that we've been discussing throughout this. But let's flash back to against the Baltimore Ravens when he got that strip sack on Lamar Jackson that won them the game. If you remember on that play, he instantly turned, looked for the ball, couldn't find it, tackled Lamar Jackson, made sure he couldn't pick it up. So we've seen him do that before. He's such a high IQ player. When that ball comes out, he knows what to do. He's very smart and he has great self-awareness when he's on the field.
Just talking about great self-awareness. Look where he look where he is. He is at the line of scrimmage, and he tackles that Terry McLaurin. Look at where he tackles him, 25 yards downfield. I mean, it's another thing to talk about our defenders that can't freaking tackle, but Kayvon Thibodeaux, it was cleaning up everybody's mess, man. He was the janitor for the Giants yesterday. He was cleaning up messes left and right. Look how many players have a chance to tackle him right here. I mean, there's 3 players that missed this. And Kayvon Thibodeaux has to chase him down 25 yards downfield. If Kayvon Thibodeaux is not tackling right there, that's probably a touchdown for Terry McLaurin. Look, I mean, just look. I don't know who 35 is, but watch how badly he whiffs on this. I mean, he completely misses him, and there's no way Jalen Smith is catching up to Terry McLaurin, not hitting the boundary. So you just see Kayvon Thibodeaux. I mean, another play goes under the radar, probably touchdown saving. You know what I mean? All day long. That's labeled as a tackle, but I'm saying that's labeled as a touchdown save. You know, like that's the big difference between what he can do and what others can't. Another plug the gap, simple run stop, really good job filling the gaps there. So he gets fooled a little bit here, but watch this guy. Look at him. He's chasing Heineke down the field. 20 yards downfield. Unbelievable effort. I mean, the energy, everything you're seeing from this guy, this is why we drafted him 5th overall, my friends.
It's that hustle and that extra effort that I mentioned. That motor just doesn't quit. He doesn't give up on plays. He is going to chase the man down all the way through to the end of the play. And once he hears the whistle, then he'll break, but he doesn't break until then. And on this play, I mean, Heineke's lucky he didn't fumble this ball with the way that Thibodeaux leveled him here. This is a big hit that he took. And again, that's why you make those plays. That's why you run all the way to the end and through the whistle, because on any given Sunday, this could be a fumble on this play, right? So it's just great extra effort from Thibodeaux. He almost forced another one here. And it's a great tackle, but it's just that effort to see him running 20 yards down the field routinely to make stops that just really wows you to see that effort out of this rookie.
Yeah. I mean, look how he's using the blocker for leverage here. You know what I mean? Like you can see this end around. I mean, look what he's doing. So he's right there on the right side, top of the screen. Watch what he does with the blocker. He's literally like pushing him into the running back, using leverage, using what you have at your disposal at that very moment. I mean, I don't know what he was on, just adrenaline and excitement and wanting to be the best, but what we saw from him shows us what his ceiling is, right? And he could even have a better game than this over the course of his career. But if that's his ceiling, I am very happy with that. Very, very, very happy. And this is the play.
Here's the big play that you mentioned earlier, Alex. I will say I thought it was a weird decision not to have Kayvon pass rushing on this play. Crazy to see him in the end zone here, but thank God it was him because I don't think anyone else on the field is making this stop.
I mean, look at this. It is Kayvon Thibodeaux versus a blocker and the runner. Kayvon Thibodeaux says, "Get out of my way," and then absolutely levels Heineke at the 1 yard line. I mean, look, I don't know how to explain this any better than I possibly can, but football is a game of inches. It always will be, always has been. You watch the Daniel Jones fumble, they called it back. You watch the Heineke fumble, they reversed it and gave the Giants the football. Those inches, those small, tiny details are the differences between winning and losing games. Kayvon Thibodeaux did not only enough to win that football game for the Giants alone, but he went above and beyond. This play right here, and I tweeted out right after it happened. I tweeted out, I don't know if any of you guys follow me on Twitter. I said, that tackle by Kayvon Thibodeaux might have just won the game. And remember that play. Remember that play because it could mean a lot. And the entire comment section says, "Are you new here? We do not stop offenses in this portion of the red zone. We cannot make stops here. They're going to score." And what do you know? That play ends up stopping the Commanders from scoring, and the Giants turn the ball over and win the football game. That is why he is special, because the plays that don't seem to make a difference are the ones that have the biggest impact, right? That is something that I cannot attest, that I cannot describe anymore than I possibly have tried to in this episode. He has gone above and beyond the effort breeds results. If you put in that maximum effort, you will be rewarded. And Kayvon Thibodeaux was rewarded on multiple occasions in this game because of it.
Yeah, it's that effort, maximum effort on every single play. Thibodeaux does not give up. No matter what the situation is, he's going out there and he's going to try to make the play on every single down. Every single snap, he wants to be involved. He wants to make the tackle, get the interception, force the fumble, get the sack, whatever the case might be. So that's kind of just the heart that New York Giants players need to play with, you know? That's what screams a New York Giant to me, is seeing a player with this level of intensity, this level of passion, and this level of motivation on every single play. And that's why he had such a phenomenal performance last night, because he doesn't give up on any given play. He is trying to make the play himself. And he's a truly special talent. He's got so much athletic ability, so much technical skill, and he's only getting started. This is only the first legendary performance in the soon-to-be legendary career of Kayvon Thibodeaux, and I can't wait to watch all of the legendary performances he turns in while wearing the NY on his helmet in big blue. It's going to be really exciting. This kid just has limitless potential, and again, he's only getting started.
Yep, he's only getting started, my friends. And I'd love to hear perspectives and opinions below in the YouTube comment section. This entire highlight video, and courtesy to Nick Filato on Twitter, piecing all the film together before it drops out. So big shout out to him. Go check them out on Twitter. Really, really good stuff over there. So, you're seeing Kayvon Thibodeaux at the top of his game, and he's only in his rookie season. So if this is just the start, I cannot wait to see the finished product. I cannot wait to see the polished Kayvon Thibodeaux, where he's putting out this type of performance every single week. And the only thing that I think he can work on is just adding more stamina to his game. You know what I mean? You can see the effort, everything he's doing. The only reason that he was out at all was because he ran out of gas. He was a guy who's could barely breathe. He was so freaking exhausted from putting so much effort on the field. Only thing that he can do now is add more stamina, because he's got the tools. He's got the work ethic. He's got it all. Now I just got to add a little bit more, so we can stay on the football field for as long as humanly possible, so we can keep seeing more of this level of play. But I'm ecstatic about what we've seen. We have a very bright future ahead of us on the defensive side, especially with some guys coming back. And we're one step closer to the playoffs. We got Xavier McKinney and Adoree Jackson coming back in a couple of weeks. Feeling very, very, very optimistic right now. Hopefully the offense can take a couple steps forward, and Saquon Barkley can show us what he's made of down the stretch here, guys. But always happy to hear your opinions below. Make sure to like and subscribe, as always, to the Fireside Giants YouTube channel. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.